be in the latter camp. I think we need to be a bit more measured, given the fact that AI is not being pushed forth in an adequately multidisciplinary manner. Mm-hmm. It's a little too technologically biased. It's not involving the environmentalist, the economist, the sociologist, the culturalist, what have you. And at the rate that it's not being pushed forth in an adequately multidisciplinary manner, I think there's a risk of this ending up in a not so benign manner. You know, you've spent time on peace, right? I'll draw the picture. The world spends about $2.75 to $3 trillion on defense annually. The United Nations has an annual budget of around $4 billion. Right? What's the hope for peace on the back of that, and on the back of what some of the conflicts that we're seeing, unfortunately, happening in Ukraine, in West Asia, and all that? Talk about that.
Well, I think it goes back to our discussion about multilateralism and geopolitical tensions. This is a moment of where there are more people who have been displaced by conflict than at any other point in global history. That is not the world that we want to live in ourselves, or we want our children to inherit. And so I think this is where the United Nations and rethinking how we come together as a global community is absolutely essential. So as I look at the situation in Gaza, we need a sustainable peace in Gaza. We need a ceasefire. We need the immediate return of the hostages that were taken from Israel. We need to get aid into Gaza, and we need that track to the two-state solution that is irrevocable, so that people have confidence that is where we're going. In Ukraine, we need Putin to withdraw from a state that he has unilaterally violated, and to obey the United Nations rules, global law, about how we respect the sovereignty of other nation states. So what I'm seeing at the moment is a world where we lack the ability to have those conversations in order to come to solutions that are actually delivering what our people need. And that is not a sustainable position. So this is why, as we look at the world as the UK, we think of ourselves as an independent and free actor. We are close to Europe, but we're not part of we're part of Europe, but we're not part of the EU. We're a permanent member of the Security Council. Our closest relationship is with the United States, but we are not the United States. And we want to have a much closer dialogue with members of the global South, because we see that a world where, frankly, nation states are not listening to each other and not engaging is not a world that is a sustainable place to be. Now, you mentioned the spend on defense. I think I would put it around a different way, referencing our discussion earlier on what it's going to take. You described it as $1 million question, how we do the transition to renewable energy. Actually, it's a several $1 trillion question, how we do a transition to a world that is a world on a sustainable energy, a sustainable kind of planet way of doing business.